thanks for joining me again for another Pixie Talks review vlog.
Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks. Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks.
Woo! Disney! Man, it has been quite the year so far for record-breaking box office hits, hasn't it? This week, I am super pumped to talk to you about the latest animated Disney film, and it's a doozy. Zootopia! I really did not know what to expect from Zootopia. There honestly wasn't a huge amount of hype about it, and honestly, all I really knew about it was that it was about anthropomorphic animals. Which is great, because it's kind of got that old-timey Robin Hood aesthetic, and boy do I have a slightly fuzzy soft spot for fox characters. Anyways, for about the past week, I've been hearing nothing but absolutely rave reviews about this, so I started to get a little bit excited about going to see it. Zootopia is about a rabbit named Judy Hopps, whose dream has always been to become a police officer in the grand metropolis of Zootopia, where predators and prey have come together to form a world where everyone lives in harmony. Little does she realize that prejudice is not as straightforward as it seems, and as events put her working together with the smooth-talking hustler Nick Wilde, she'll have a lot to learn about herself and others. Okay, I am super excited to talk about this because this film is super important. It's pretty obvious that this movie is about racism. It isn't even a metaphor, it's pretty darn front and center. This is entirely about race and race relations, and with the current racial climate in the United States and the reports of police brutality, it's pretty darn topical. But what's really innovative and important is how it approaches that topic. It would be really straightforward and simple if they had just made the villains racist. The whole idea that the good guys are not racist and prejudiced, and they have to fight against the bad guys who are. But that's actually a rather naive narrative and doesn't prompt the audience to look inside themselves. Instead, they actually made the protagonist kinda racist. Hopps is certainly not hate-filled in any way, but she's the product of a culture and a society that has instilled in her certain prejudiced ways of thinking. And although her intentions are good, over the course of the movie, she ends up having to acknowledge and confront her own racist attitudes and beliefs, and that is super powerful. She is the quintessential white person who doesn't think there is a racism issue anymore, and as such has never questioned her own attitudes. That is huge. It sends a very clear and powerful message to the audience. You are not perfect. You are not above criticism. When these topics are brought up, don't just wave them aside. Be introspective so that you don't become part of the problem. I don't think I've ever seen a movie tackle this topic quite so well, and it was incredible. It addresses so many subjects, I learn something new every time I go back to think about it. Hope is naive and thinks that she has no racial prejudices to sort through, but surprise, she ends up having to check her privilege. And this is important, it's even though she also experiences prejudices on account of being a bunny. It straight up addresses the concept that there are all sorts of issues out there, and just because you are not privileged in one area does not mean that you are not privileged in another. I cannot believe how clever and smart this movie is about addressing some of the most complicated and convoluted topics of our current cultural climate. Now, moving on to more technical aspects, this movie is gorgeous. Every character is rendered absolutely beautifully. The anthropomorphic designs are perfect. The elaborate world building is mind-blowing. And the fur! My gosh, look at that fur! Every single person in this movie has incredibly well-rendered details, from the tips of their noses to their adorable little ears. I love everything about the visual style here. It is slick and adorable and pretty nostalgic for me since I did grow up on anthros. It's absolutely beautiful. All of the characters are incredibly relatable and amazingly fun to watch. Hopps is an absolute joy. She's enthusiastic and eager to learn despite her mistakes. She's a brilliant detective, noticing all of the smallest details around her and putting the pieces together. Wilde, on the other hand, is an absolute blast, a smart aleck who more than keeps up with Hopps's exuberant energy. In general, the movie is filled with brilliantly written dialogue and great character interaction that makes the characters and the setting just come to life. It bursts off the screen. There is good reason this is quickly becoming one of Disney's most successful new releases. It's sharp, it's smart, it's topical, and it's important. Go watch this movie. Run, don't walk to the theater. And that's it for my review of Zootopia. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to subscribe for more. You can also add me on Facebook and Twitter for more updates and all my other stuff. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Bye!
And Brazil, welcome to Zootopia.